And so we are going to move on to our next segment, which is going to be from Forward National Data Bank for Rheumatic Diseases. And they are a long term collaborator with us. And we are so excited for you to learn more about what they do. We actually are in the midst of a project with them to get a lot of patient information in a database. And you'll see in the videos what that database is used for and what the information is used for. And we will also have our CEO and our head of the research part of AI arthritis come in just a few minutes after these videos are over. She's going to be talking about a different program that we have, but she may also weigh in a little bit on what Forward National Data Bank does and what we plan to do with them.
Forward has provided, our group, and not only our group, people around the world, the opportunity to examine, what factors drive outcomes for patients. Are there factors that we can modify and change that improve the outcomes and the lives, really, of our patients who suffer from arthritis? And I think Forward has provided an amazing resource for that type of work. And helping us understand what we can be doing differently in the clinic to take care of these patients. There are certain risk factors that put patients at higher risk, and really it's allowed us that kind of information and information that's come from other data sets has allowed us really to start to tailor therapies for patients, up front to make wiser selections about, the treatment that we give to patients. And I think Forward's been a big part of that.
The benefit of Forward is that you're engaging people early on in their condition or at some point in their disease, and then you have data for many, many years, so you can look at long-term outcomes that you can't really look at in other settings. Not only that, but there's also really patient-oriented outcomes in a way, and the detail with regard to those outcomes is such that it really allows for a lot of analyses that aren't possible in other data sets.
Some of the things that make Forward unique are the direct interactions with patients and the registry, so that the information isn't being filtered through a healthcare system. And in some cases, we worry about even information being filtered through providers before the data become available for research. That's a very important voice that patients have in directly providing their perspective to research.
I think most patients are a little surprised to think that, they could contribute this much to research. I think that it really kind of opens their eyes that we could learn from them.
One is mild, 2 discomforting, 3 distressing, 4 horrible, 5 excruciating. Which word describes your pain right now? Mild, I'm sure. Which word describes it at its worst? Excruciating. I've been doing those surveys forever. I have no idea. 20 years? Has it been that long? I know that they're finding out what's going on with people, and they're seeing how long-term effects. When I was diagnosed, you didn't have a lot of long-term people. They didn't live 10 or 15 or 20 years with it. So it's good to know what the long-term effects are. It's so even I can look and see what's going to happen, see what to look forward to.
The longitudinal nature of the questionnaire provides very important information that is unique to our study. And the fact that we've been doing it for 21 years and there are patients still doing it for 21 years is so invaluable. Forward was founded primarily for rheumatologists who said, hey, we want to help our patients get better, but we're not all researchers. So yes, please talk to our patients and we'll give you some data along the way, whatever you think might be helpful. And we're more than not still contributing and relying on people who want to help make a difference.
I have several patients who will comment on, I did my questionnaire, so their twice a year survey. It's almost like an alarm clock goes off and they know that they have their survey coming. And I think for many of those patients, it makes them feel like they're part of it, and they're participating in their care by providing us with that data.
The treatment pyramid has completely turned upside down since I got diagnosed. I do 30-something miles running every week. There's no way that 20 years ago we would have thought that I could do any of this.
We learn from patients, from their life experiences, so we can make it better for them and others in the future.
I'm Fred Wolf, and I was the founder of the National Data Bank for Rheumatic Diseases, and I did practice rheumatology for many years in Wichita. I became a rheumatologist by default because there's nobody else in the community when I first got here who did that. And in rheumatology, particularly for things like rheumatoid arthritis, we didn't really have very good therapies when I started. Some days I'd come home wondering whether I had helped anybody during the day. Somewhere around 1974, I got a computer. Someone had just published an article in the Rheumatology Journal, Arthritis and Rheumatism, about a database for rheumatic diseases. And in 1974, I having learned to program this, I wrote a database program. So I wrote this and I began to collect data. And gradually, in the 70s, I began to collect data on every single patient that I had ever seen. Here was my opportunity to find out whether actually I helped people or not. And so I had to measure how they worked. So I learned how to do some of the scales and some of the stuff that we ultimately invented in terms of scaling came out of all of that, the observations of this.
What rheumatology has taught us more than any other area is that people with RA and other rheumatic diseases, what they are experiencing, how they are feeling, and what they're able to do is more important to their long-term outcome than what their disease activity is that day. And that's why questionnaires have been so important in rheumatology. How you are feeling that day so often can change depending on the weather and your mood, but those things also impact your pain processing, how you are impacted by the pain that you're experiencing, the functional impact as well. Why not collect that in a standardized way on a questionnaire? And we've done that. We've shown that when patients answer their questions certain ways, is much more predictive of how they're going to do than any joint and blood test that we can measure.
Well, that was amazing. I saw a lot of good chatter in the chat as well, talking about Forward, and some of our volunteers have said that they have been doing Forward surveys for years, and some people haven't even heard of them before. So, such an amazing organization and service to be able to provide to rheumatologists, organizations, and to patients. So thank you to Forward National Data Bank for everything that you do.